appreciate the info.
Because the island of Tsushima is the island, so I get both sides of it. I don't get the third side. I don't get Erigaishi, but I get all the other parts of it. You want to tell a different story. Now, I'm curious who the protagonist is and how.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get to that on the show.
I'm going to research it right now and find out who the character is, though.
Yeah. But yeah, right. we've got a lot of topics.
But you're another asset on. Oh, I can theoretically play this man with the call it August.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started, I guess. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xeno. We got 2 Skypers today instead of 1. So, in order, they're busy reading stuff, I think.
Yeah, I'm getting the screen pulled up for the chat.
Well, Q's usually the first one. I guess I'll introduce him myself since he won't introduce himself. I'm here with Q on Skype and
as always, Bloodaxe.
There we go.
Sorry, I was doing a little research.
I know. I informed him of that.
Informed.
That's how out of it you were. You didn't even notice that long conversation. Q is hyper focused when reading stuff. So. Anyways.
Despite the claim, I like to know what I'm talking about, especially when it's on a game, and that's I got to go see. And as far as I can tell, good and bad news. We'll go over it. There's good and bad.
I wasn't questioning that part of it. I was just talking about your hyper focus. You do it all the time. You start reading something you get interested in, and you zone out the rest of the world.
Yeah, man. But you know what? It can take you away sometimes. A good book.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Let's get started. First up, let's see.
There we go.
What we got here? We've got just a quick update, I guess. We'll start with that. Star
you won't
Wars.
Give up on that, will you? You keep going back to check Kodar.
I mean, yeah, dude. Look, it's been through so much. It's one of those things of I'm along for the ride now. Whether they screw it up or destroy it or whatever. It's just been an interesting ride. Through multiple studios.
I have to give you a hand because I'm living that all the time, man. That's my day to day. And I gotta ask something real quick. I hate the side subject, but I don't see the background. You do got the background showing, right?
You never see the background on Skype.
Okay. Hey, I'm new to this because last time I was recovering from surgery, so I was seeing all kind of stuff that wasn't there.
That's true. That's true.
I was on that hydrocodone, so I saw something behind you. I ain't gonna say what it was, but it was talking. But no, I did. But no, I clap because this is what I do with my rabbit holes, man. I'll go with a bad show and just be like, let's see how the Acolyte ends. Let's see how Batwoman ends. So it's nice that for once it's not me that's riding something until the wheels fall off.
Look, man, how many times did I check that Redfall update page, man?
Hey, we did that together. But I'm letting you handle Kotar because that's a heartbreaker. Because me and Bloodaxe, we can't take it, man. Kotar was right here, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Bloodaxe, man? That was right here. That actually hurts. That hurts a little bit.
When I found out Sam Maggs was writing the story, or at least one of the writers on the team, I checked out. And since then, she's supposedly left the project. But the fact that it's going to be a Sony exclusive, at least initially, before it comes on Xbox, and who they picked to be on the writing team, I'm not super excited about it. The fact that they had to make an announcement that says, "Oh, by the way, we're still working on it," I had forgotten it was still in development until
Well, I mean,
Xeno brought it up.
This company, I think, has changed hands. So, I mean, first of all, it started with a different company that were both under the Embracer Group. Then the Embracer Group moved it from one of their subsidiaries to a different subsidiary. Then I think they sold that subsidiary, or the Embracer Group got sold, one or the other. I forget exactly all of what happened. So now, and after all the sell stuff went on, of course, we didn't know, and we weren't getting any answers. But finally, Saber Interactive, who has had it now for a while, CCO Tim Willits, he replied and said that the team is focused on development and will share more when the time is right.
Let me tell you too, like I say KOTOR, but really KOTOR 2 is my baby. The reason it's so close to my heart is that I used to think Star Wars was lame as heck, Jedi included. I mean, I like the light swords. I played the first game because I had a lightsaber, and I got to finally make my own character. And I love it. I played Jedi Academy and all that because of the lightsaber combat. But when I got to do the alternate light side path in KOTOR 2, that's when the lore of the Force and the Jedi and the Sith captured me. If it wasn't for that game, I probably wouldn't even seen the other movies, and I'm being dead serious. I became a real Star Wars fan, actually caring about the lore because of KOTOR 2. Because I saw alternate versions of that story. I got to meet a Sith. I liked Kreia, man. Kreia was my homie. I liked her a lot. And it was an interesting story, but I was fond of this character. It really is what truly brought me into Star Wars and made me deep dive into it to find out about the Grey Jedi and the alternate Force users and all of that. Because you found armor and weapons, remember? You would find, remember the discs Bloodaxe you found? It was from that order that uses like the bladed disc. And you found the armor from the different traditions. And you found out that there was these family lines with a signature specialty ability. All of that lore was fascinating to me and actually made me start to care. So
yeah,
if they kill KOTOR, with what Disney's doing to the shows, if they kill KOTOR for me and poison that well, like ruin that, I will probably just be done with Star Wars on all avenues. I won't touch a game again even. And that's why I'm kind of scared, because they really screw this up, and they're allowed to screw this up. I'm just going to go, you win. Disney can go jump off a lake.
Well, I mean, and that's my thing. Like, I was never a big Star Wars fan. Like, I enjoy the movie Star Wars, but I never considered myself a fan, you know. But I was a fan of KOTOR. I enjoyed the story of KOTOR. I enjoyed being involved in the story. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if they screw it up, I mean, they already said it was a PlayStation and PC only, you know, so no Xbox release, you know, back in. Now, we still don't know if that's true anymore because of all the changes, but last we heard, you know, it was a PlayStation exclusive, which is probably why Bloodaxe had sort of zoned out on it. Once they said PlayStation and no Xbox release.
Yeah, we do Steam, so if it's on PC, we can get it, but he's got to wait for the Xbox release.
Well, no, I found out that after I found out Sam Mags was involved with it. I tuned out even before I knew it was a Sony exclusive.
Yeah.
Hey, who's writing it? I'm out.
Yeah, because if you look up her IMDb, it'd be very similar to something we'll talk about here in a little bit. But even if it comes to Xbox, unless the reviews are half as good as the original KOTOR games are, I don't think I can stomach playing it, to be honest with you.
I mean, the other thing is, dude, is honestly, why do we need writers for these games? Like these remakes? I mean, the game was great. We just want an updated system. We don't need writers. We have the dialogue. We have the story. We have everything we already need.
The modern audience. Even though literally,
but it wasn't a modern game. I mean, it's a
No, here's
sci-fi
what's
game.
bad. I can prove to you right now why the rewriting for the modern artist is dumb, and it's not a political statement at all. I can say a completely neutral, fair, businessly sound, unable to be debunked proof that you don't need to rewrite this game for modern artists. You know what it is? Look at all the retro games being put out. Look at all the retro games. We literally have a topic about a bunch of pixel games coming to Xbox. Retro games are doing amazing right now. And if that's the case, that means there's nothing wrong with them. Those retro games, man, older games are bam, bam, bam. Heck, look at that. More people are playing that game than Concord at its best. I had to make sure to say that because,
I mean,
you know, I don't know who's
321
playing,
24-hour peak of a game
that is old as heck.
that is old as heck.
Like old,
Speaking of which,
way back.
I just picked up Borderlands Game of the Year edition, which came out, 2003, 2004?
Yeah.
So, and it plays just as good as Borderlands 2. So
Borderlands 1 and 2 are usually popular and more popular than 3. And you literally have a toxic male villain by the current definition who insults you constantly and is pretty sexist if you're playing the female character. Like, Handsome Jack's an a-hole. But that's why he's a villain. So, no. But I'm talking about even further back. As my boy Zeno knows, the old Dragon Quest, man, are popping off. They keep re-releasing them. People are loving them. Then they decide to make these changes, but everybody loves the games that didn't have these changes.
If they didn't make these changes in Dragon Quest 3, the coming up Dragon Quest 3, it will probably have been the 5th time I've bought the game. Because I've bought it on Steam, or no, I didn't buy it on Steam. It wasn't on Steam. I bought it on my game.
Nintendo.
Well, my Switch, my handheld, my old handheld one as well. The original game when it was Dragon Quest, and on my phone, because originally they didn't have them on Switch and all that stuff. And I wanted to play them again, and I didn't want to pirate them, so I was like, I'll buy them on my phone. It'll give me something to do on the toilet, you know? So, I mean, I've already bought the game like 3-4 times, and I would have bought it again.
And that's what I'm saying. Retro games, man. How can these games that are very archaic in their roles and style, I mean, dude, come on. The games from our childhood very much had gendered roles, and you saved the girl. I mean, the female lead got kidnapped half the time in a mana game, and you had to go save her. And she was always a princess. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Secretly a princess. Yeah. Like, I mean, well, in some of them.
My biggest Xbox, like you mentioned, the biggest thing announced by Xbox at the Tokyo event to me was that Square Enix is bringing the mana games and the Final Fantasy games to Xbox.
Dude, best female protagonist.
The 2 mana games are on Game Pass, so you can play them for free, and they have been remastered.
Best female protagonist, mine, and then Kitsune's best female protagonist to me is Rosa. She was a badass white mage, awesome in your party, really strong. You gotta rescue her so dang often. She gets tied up and kidnapped. You gotta rescue her. You know what I'm saying? You rescue the girl. Terra. My boy Kitsune's much more focused. He's the literal main character, but literally also has emotional breakdowns. You have to rescue her. Celi's from that game. Yet, hugely popular characters, hugely popular game, and just got brought over. So, you can't say that the modern audience won't play these games when literally these games are doing better than the new games. They're remastering them and people are getting them because they're good and they're fun. That market should literally be dead because it's not up to date, because it's problematic, but it's not. More people, I'm curious if more people are playing the old Dead Rising than the new one. I won't make you look it up, I'll check, but I'm wondering if the remaster's beating the original.
The old Dead Rising wasn't on PC, I don't think.
Oh, it didn't? That's good for them, because honestly, probably more people will be playing the original. But, you know, it's ridiculous that you can clearly tell you don't like you. I'm just doing this to support you. They could just take the story and just do the update. Don't even re-record the dialogue and just run with it. But they keep thinking they need to fix something that ain't broke. And I'm still waiting. And here's the sad part. If tomorrow somebody did a Modern Arsenal game and it was successful, these people would be toting it like a real success. But I'm like, no, you need like 50 of those, because the number of modern updates that failed is so many that you could have 20 knockout successes before the end of this year, and the overall success rate would still not even be 50%. That's how much this is failing. So I don't know why people are still doing it. Even if when some game we're going to talk about later is a success, that'll be a success that can't erase what Concord did.
Well, I mean, the thing is
other games
before this recent wave of these remasters or remakes,
and with alterations.
Before, that's all they really did is they cleaned up the graphics some and they re-released. I mean, Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2, just re-released with some cleaner graphics, and then they took some of the content that never made it quite out, and added that in, you know, which is cool.
Also, Skyrim. Look at the most successful game almost in the world for being redone. Skyrim.
Yeah.
The big joke about Skyrim is how much they don't change anything. The same glitches are there. You know, like it's broken and it's still broken.
What'd you add in this remaster? We just added some lighting shaders and, you know, upgraded the textures a bit.
Nothing. Buy it. Shut up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you fix that problem with that one quest? Go get the mod. They'll update it.
Yeah, the modders will fix it.
They literally don't even fix crap. Man. You didn't even fix anything when you redid it. You put it out, still broke. I think one of their last releases, the dragons were flying upside down again. I'm just like, are you serious? But give them credit, though. You know what they don't do? They don't redo it for the modern audience.
Yeah, I will say, they have reintroduced bugs from remastering something.
Oh, my eyes are watering, man. It's just funny. I mean, I never thought I'd have to praise Bethesda. The one thing they won't do is because that's too much work. They're like, I'm not re-recording anything. Screw you. Go find a mod. It'll fix it. Go download Modern Audience 2.0 for Skyrim. I'm amazed I can't get Bloodaxe to laugh, because that's got me about to cry thinking about that. But you want to know who lives by if it ain't broke, don't fix it? But that doesn't say if it is broke, someone else will fix it. Oh, God, that's wonderful. I actually got to praise Bethesda. It's been so long, it feels weird, doesn't it? I got to praise Bethesda for something. They did not do anything weird to Skyrim that I know of.
Yeah. Other than that, the Xbox Tokyo Game Show was pretty blah. I mean,
obviously, it was missing a very important group.
StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2 are coming to Game Pass, apparently.
Oh, God, what are they going to do to it?
Oh, no, they're not doing anything to it. They're just bringing it over to Game Pass. This is them finally bringing over some of the Activision stuff to Game Pass.
Yeah, but it's PC Game Pass. It's not coming to console Game Pass.
Wait, go back up. I just gotta, man, I am shocked by how much. Was that Fortnite or Overwatch? Overwatch is trying to become Fortnite.
Well, yeah.
It's trying to become Fortnite, because that's a Fortnite thing. Because you probably can already play Midoriya in Fortnite. You probably can play every one of these characters in Fortnite right now.
Yeah, you can actually, yes.
Oh my God, I was just guessing. But to me, this just proves the downfall of Overwatch 2, because when you start copying your competitor, you're gonna lose, because you can't beat Fortnite for getting these licenses, man. They've got everybody. And I wouldn't be surprised if I could play Barack Obama up in there. Like, they got everybody in Fortnite. You're going to lose if you're trying to compete with them.
I actually have, when I played Fortnite, I got the All Might skin. And then
oh my God, it's real.
Now here's the thing. You get both versions of the All Might skin. So I ran around as the skinny weekend.
And that's what I hate, because I have to admit, Fortnite does a good job of it, man.
Oh no, dude! When it comes to their skins are awesome, and I mean, they don't care. They pull from every franchise. I mean, I was watching a fight between the Family Guy, War Machine, and Deadpool, and a chicken.
Dude, their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles look awesome. I saw that, and they did a good job on the look. I'll just tell the truth.
Yeah.
They do look really good.
No, they do. But yeah, nothing really big coming out of.
Shredder looks awesome. So I gotta admit it, dude. They do a good job. I've just got to throw that in. They do a good job. They really do tend to do a really good job. They don't have Slash though. They need to fix that, because Slash was my favorite turtle. He doesn't show up in enough stuff. You know what I mean? They'd have had Slash, I would have given them mad props.
Now
But that's my point. They're losing. Oh, Suikoden, man, I love those games.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was about to say, I was going to ask you. I don't recall these, so.
I played all of it. Oh, it's based on the Legend of the 108 Stars. You could get like 108 party members in every game. And I got the secret ending and all the characters in all the way up to, I think, 5. And what's really crazy, this is one of the first games where if you had the save of Suikoden 1, you could recruit the main character from Suikoden 1 into your Suikoden 2 party. And had a whole secret quest line just about that, because you had that save. They started it way back then of going, you had the true ending of the first game. That gives you a bonus in the next game. They started I want to have a game save for the next game. It's actually something everybody's mad about Dragon Age Veilguard. You want to know another great crime of Dragon Age Veilguard? Just as a quick aside, your save doesn't matter from Inquisition. Instead, they just ask you, I think, only 3 questions that you answered to say what happened, and that's it. And everybody's heartbroken because you remember there's been crossover from Dragon Age to Dragon Age game. And that meant a lot to me because I'm a Suikoden.
I never played the Sequinin.
It's one of the first games up there with Chrono Cross to have combo attacks, except with 108 characters, the number of combo attacks was insane.
I feel bad. I missed something.
And some of them would be 6-man combo attacks, 2-man rivalry combo attacks. Like, the game was ahead of its time. Loved it. And dark. You could get a bad ending in that game that as a kid, would traumatize you. I'm not exaggerating. This is one of them games where everyone could die. You could screw up and let your sister die. It didn't play. Like, these games were dark. In fact, the first game's messed up because you have the death rune, which basically is cursed that people you care about die. Do not think that they go soft on that during that story. It's a dark game, but fun. Make a man out of you.
I was hoping to see the Game Pass tag on here, but it does not look like it's coming to Game Pass.
It will eventually, dude. That's an older game. Ain't no way. Go back to the original thing. Did it just say it was coming to Xbox, or did it say it was coming to Game Pass?
Yeah, it just said Xbox.
It'll get there. I'll wait until it hits Game Pass and replay it. And but it goes back to that original concept, the original subject of. Well, no, sorry, we skipped that. We're on the state of play. I'm about to go back to the whole old school games. But what else they got? Anything catch the eye?
Not really.
No.
I think
that's a fun game, though. I've seen gameplay of that one, Slitterhead.
Didn't they say they were making a StarCraft shooter? Wasn't that talked about during the show?
They didn't have any footage, but Slitterhead.
I didn't see anything on that.
Now, I remember reading earlier this week because I was looking at the StarCraft 2 coming to Game Pass on PC, and I'd read something about them making a StarCraft shooter, which I'm curious if they're going to revive the whole Ghost idea or it's going to be completely different or not.
I mean, Ghost is right up there with Half-Life 3,
Yeah.
I think we're closer to Half-Life 3. If
rumors are true, I mean, we are.
Mm-hmm. But Slitterhead, that one that was down there, has a actual very interesting, if you like dark horror anime, like, do you remember Parasite? You know, guy has a thing in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
It has a lot of tones like that, but it's an interesting game and merciless, brutal. Like, but it comes off as a horror anime, and it's not bad. You just passed it, but it's not bad. It's pretty good looking. Like up.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
right
now.
there.
So.
Oh, okay. But that looks pretty good. Like, that is one I want to play. And Slitterhead looks good. It looks good. So I do want to point out that. But what got me is that I didn't see our little French friends. Where were they? What happened?
Our French friends.
Yeah, French friends. Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
Merci beaucoup.
Well, I mean,
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, they haven't talked about being more friendly with Xbox, but they have talked about being more friendly with Steam.
Oh, but that's odd, though, because I heard they haven't been very friendly at all recently. Like,
Hey, Zeno,
I heard that they don't.
check the chat. I just sent you the link.
I
didn't think I was going crazy.
I like it says for a third time, though. They said, no, we're going to do something with that. But yeah, like they canceled the press release copies that they were going to send out of Assassin's Creed. They pushed the game back. They didn't go to the Tokyo Expo. Like, that doesn't seem friendly at all. They seem to have become very unfriendly. But hey, I don't blame them, because we all know that Assassin's Creed Shadows will definitely kick Monster Hunter Wild's butt.
well,
right?
before we get too far into Ubisoft, let's jump back to this real quick.
Okay, what we got?
This is the article that Blood had mentioned. So,
I mean, slide down. Let me see more. I don't know anything about this. Or should I say, I don't believe Blizzard about anything StarCraft related. Well, what else? What they got? They got anything for us? Scroll down. Let's see what they got.
I had to close the chat on the Skype window.
Pardon us for a moment. We are experiencing temporary technical difficulties.
That's a little. All right. So yeah, for the third time, Blizzard Entertainment is trying to make this famous game into a shooter. All right.
All right. Maybe. Oh, wow. You must be able to read faster than me. I didn't catch nearly any of that. All right.
So it was with a conversation with IGN that it got brought up, not the Tokyo event.
You can't trust IGN for nothing. That immediately makes it me even less likely to believe it's happening.
I don't know. They have a lot of interviews, and they get a lot of information from their interviews. Now, their opinion pieces I don't trust very much are the titles of their articles, but they do a lot of interviews.
Well, they're even saying there that most of the team is gone. Only a handful of the people remain that were working on this. So that's bad. And it's a person from Far Cry working on it. I don't know if Far Cry has a good engine for a StarCraft shooter.
No.
I don't know if that's the right experience.
Especially their ability to fly planes. That's just insane.
Like,
I don't have any problem with flying a plane in Far Cry. It's pretty simple.
No.
No, I mean,
multiplayer,
it glitched a lot, but that was a multiplayer problem, Bloodaxe. It was bad in multiplayer. Oh, my goodness. It was terrible. But no, the thing is that other than my boy Kitsune, I don't know who else remembers StarCraft that fondly, because he's been waiting on Ghost for a long time.
Well, I mean, I did not care for StarCraft 2. The first StarCraft, man, I played the heck out of that. But I used to love those types of games. You know, I played, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, and StarCraft, all similar style games. It's that base building combat.
Resource management, yeah.
I'll play a first-person shooter based on Kerrigan, where I get to command the Zerg as like a summoner pet type build. Yeah, that's it, though. That's the only thing that interests me. I'll do the Zerg because they're the only things in that universe that are mildly interesting. They're aliens, don't do it for me, and they're humans. I'm sorry, man. There's freaking Space Marines and Warhammer out there and Spartans.
Yeah, the Protoss I never could get into, but the Zerg were really tight. But I like Jim Raynor a lot with the humans. I thought he was pretty good.
He's not bad. But if I had to choose between this and a shooter where I get to play like a Krogan, I'd rather play a Krogan in a first-person shooter, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather get a Mass Effect shooter and you get to play as a different races in there with their special abilities, you know, and biotics. I mean, maybe that's the next step. Maybe what they need to do is make a shooter out of the Mass Effect universe. Zeno, what do you think? I'd play it as a shooter. I like the abilities. I think it'd be a pretty good hero shooter. Not a hero shooter like that. You have different builds, but it's actually got a story. Let me correct that. Yeah. But I would not mind a first-person version of the Mass Effect games in that universe. I think that'd be fun.
And I mean, it is interesting to hear things coming out of Blizzard being. I mean, they're still laying people off.
Look, Bloodaxe, he ignored all that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think he's so salty about Andromeda not being finished.
I am a bit salty about Andromeda.
It can come back as a first-person shooter sequel. I'd play Andromeda 2 if it was a shooter.
Andromeda basically was a shooter.
First person. Or third person like Gears or Borderlands. Well, Borderlands is not third person, but you know what I mean. I'd play it as a shooter. I think it'd be a good shooter. I actually believe it would be a good shooter.
Mass Effect's not a shooter. Like
it
that.
Needs to be.
It was an RPG. Did you ever play Andromeda?
No, you know that. I played everyone but Andromeda.
So don't talk about Andromeda.
I tried and I didn't finish it, but that didn't say a whole lot.
No, you don't finish a lot of things when it comes to games that you don't like. You get an interesting, like you were one of those that I'm always interested in your gaming opinion because you make snap decisions on a lot of games. Like you, and it's intriguing to me because I was like, man, I don't know if I can make a decision. Like I've played games I've hated for like 30, 40 hours, you know?
Oh God, no. Well, I mean, I did pick up Remnant 2 and I rebuilt my build again today. So at least I was doing that.
Yeah.
You didn't make the snap decision to hate it, but he's not wrong. There have been games that you've hated from the tutorial and quit them. You've quit games in the tutorial. No, I'm not talking about that one game. You've done it to other games.
About Atomic Heart. Was I wrong about Atomic Heart?
You weren't wrong, but I mean, I don't know if you got through the tutorial of that game.
No, I didn't.
I played it all the way till I got outdoors. And then I called you. Hey, didn't I tell you? I came back and said, hey, guys, I played all the way out of the facility and got outside, and I'm quitting. Like, I was like, I'm done. It didn't get any better. I was hoping it would. Still boring.
But I did re-download No Man's Sky. I am going to give that another try as well. Because Zeno said they fixed a lot of the issues from the beginning. So I'm going to get that.
Get off your first planet is the question now.
There's more than one planet on No Man's Sky?
There's millions. There's an infinite number of planets.
The first planet is essentially the tutorial, Bloodaxe. Even I know that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know anything about the game.
It's a space exploration game. So.
It's like getting a baseball game where you're supposed to play your career and you don't get to the first game. You quit during the like recruitment, like before you even swing a bat. You're like, man, this game sucks. I'm out. Be like, well, how'd you do in your first game, huh?
What was that other game that he did that to get the tutorial? It was like
okay. Was it in his defense, it was hard, but it won't long. You have to beat the tutorial first level to get the multiplayer. I literally could not play this game with him because he did not get past the tutorial.
I tried for 30 minutes. I couldn't get through his first phase. I'm like, you know what, I'm done.
Now, in his defense, he did try for a while. He did say he fought the boss quite a few times, but I just was laughing because he's like, dude, because the worst part is I could give him equipment. I had this whole heavy, nightmare Siegfried heavy armor set that was going to make him a tank where he didn't have to block anymore. He could just stand there and beat him to death. I had all this equipment. I'm like, but I can't give it to you until you get out of tutorial.
So for everybody watching, in my defense, I work about 60, 70 hours a week. I've got 3 kids that live at home with me, plus a 4th that still needs to be taken care of. If I don't like a game, I'm not going to suffer through it for hours like people that are single do.
No, I get it. Look, I have multiple Diablo 4 characters over level 80.
Ow. Wow, I only was able to do that like twice, and that was it. I never got much higher than 78 or 80 either.
And yeah, and that game was bad.
Hey, they say it's better now if you want to beat your head against the same wall and hope that you're going to get a different flavor.
My thing is, I hate wasting money on a game, so I try to make some fun out of it. But anyway, Activision Blizzard is laying off hundreds of Californian workers. So more layoffs in the Blizzard. What's that?
Yeah, but we knew this was going to happen.
The article also said that since they've been acquired, that makes a total of 1,000 now. It adds up to like over 1,000 employees.
Yeah.
Let go.
Well, these layoffs come on top of the 1,003 already made over the past year.
Oh, so well over 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime
So this would be
there's an
another
acquisition-
400 on top of that, so that'd be 1,400.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's going to happen when there's an acquisition. Because you have duplication of staff across multiple companies, you're going to eventually start weaning people off.
Yeah, I get that.
I think though it's also Diablo 4's underperformance, and then did they do anything other than Diablo 4? I think everything they did that wasn't Diablo 4 did really bad. Diablo 4 did huge when it came out, but like this is a game that's known for having legs. So don't get me wrong, the game sold like gangbusters.
Yeah.
On release, but it died off, and this is a game with a huge staff that's doing seasons, and that's where this is happening. I believe these layoffs are as the game is proving to not be able to sustain this huge staff. They're getting rid of them. They're like, look, dude, there ain't enough people playing for us to have 500-600 people doing seasons. You know, they're probably shaving that down because they're like, this is too expensive, because that is probably expensive. I mean, just the fact they can get rid of this many employees and still be functional says a lot.
Well, from what this is saying, this may be part of the 1,900 that Microsoft had already announced. It says the 400 roles you're seeing in the system are part of the recent news and are not new. The roles that were impacted included mostly corporate and support roles and some impacts to gaming teams. So it seems to be mostly corporate. So it's probably like Bloodaxe said, a lot of this is coming from, I mean, because corporate roles are usually guaranteed to get reshuffled and removed whenever there's an acquisition.
Well, yeah, you don't need redundant positions. I don't know. Maybe. I don't believe everything they say because we catch people lying all the time.
Well, yeah, no,
but you know,
it makes sense.
I do believe Diablo 4 had something to do with it. Not maybe as much as I'm saying, but I don't believe it's faultless. I believe more money would have saved some jobs.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. If it was still, churning along the way they expected to, they probably would have kept more staff members to be able to make more DLC to make more money. But the fact that, Xeno, who's probably the biggest Diablo fan out of all three of us, he stopped playing pretty early in season 1. That should tell you that your core audience checked out really, really fast.
Oh yeah. Look, I've been tempted to pick up Diablo 3 again, just because I'm but I'm also looking at Path of Exile 2 that's supposed to be pre-released in a couple months. So that'll scratch my itch, hopefully, if they didn't screw that up for the over-the-top action RPG.
I believe that I'll just wait for Path of Exile 2 as well. I mean, we've got some games hitting. I mean, one of the greatest things right now, just as a little side note, is that while I've gotten a little flack for not buying it when I was online at some of the different chats talking about Space 2. I kind of like having that in our pocket for when I get bored. I know it's there.
Yeah, I mean, that's
but I'm not needing it right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, I've got Space Marines 2 in my pocket. I have Remnant, which we're playing now. I'm still playing Borderlands 3 off and on just because I'm enjoying it for the first time. Like, I played it on the Xbox. I didn't really enjoy it playing it on Xbox because that's not my platform of choice when playing that type of game.
I can fix crashes, man. I'd join you more often, but you've seen how bad my crashes are. Like, oh my goodness.
On top of that, you know, I mean, I do like Civ type games. So Frostpunk 2 just came to Xbox Game Pass. The DLC for Starfield drops tomorrow, so we'll have the Shattered.
And I almost forgot that was coming. That's sad. That managed to like fall off my radar.
Yeah. But yeah, that comes tomorrow. So that's still in my in my playhouse. So no, I'm good right now. I'd rather have a game that I can sit back on the burner to play later than have nothing at all. You know, that's entertaining. But anyway, back to that Ubisoft. So Ubisoft comes crawling back to Steam. This is basically Ubisoft has been mostly posting on Epic, and then you might see 6 months later or something like that where Steam will get a Ubisoft game. Apparently, they are going back to where they're not doing Epic exclusives. Now, this comes right after, of course, Ubisoft is in a pile right now of steaming stuff. We have Assassin's Creed was just announced to be delayed. You know, the press copies were delayed. The release was delayed. On top of that, Ubisoft's board is launching an investigation into the company's struggles. On top of that, we have, the Star Wars Outlaws underperformance. They're finally admitting to that. I mean, it's a mess. I know you had a lot to say on it, Q.
I mean, like I said, the biggest thing is just I've been following it. This has been my white whale of curiosity. And it's funny because I'm not an Ubisoft guy. Me and Sterling don't agree on much as of late. I've been a long-time fan, but one thing that Stephanie and I can agree upon is that Ubisoft is trash. But mainly it's because of their practices. I didn't used to have a beef with their games, but
dude,
Odyssey.
I think we all played a lot of Ubisoft games back in the day. I mean, the original Assassin's Creed, early Far Cry's.
But like that last Far Cry multiplayer, well, not even the last one, not 6. You born 6. 5 was such a train wreck. It's one of the worst online experiences me and Bloodaxe ever had. It was insane.
The most fun we had was fishing in that game.
Yep. You remember the stupid thing where the enemies would turn invisible, but they could still kill me?
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. And then you look at the issues that showed up in Outlaws, and you go, guys, how are you still doing this? And then with Assassin's Creed Shadows, they stepped into a new problem. Your games are janky and you're money grabbing greedy corporation. Sure, that's everybody. Fine. But then it's just like, hey, Yasuke, I know him. I know that character. Wait, what are you saying? That's not accurate. I know that's not accurate because I looked this character up before the author who started modifying the Wikipedia because he wrote a book and they caught it was him doing it. I remember all the information that existed before that because I looked into it when I was like 16. So we're talking about 30 years ago.
Well, dude, I mean,
and I know that all the information available before everybody started screwing with it does not match anything that they're saying now. They changed it all.
I mean, the Assassin's Creed label in general is just a weird label anyway. Because, I mean, Assassin's Creed hadn't been Assassin's Creed in a while.
Oh, wow.
I mean, dude, I enjoyed the
Valhalla,
the Viking one. But I don't know why it was an Assassin's Creed game. The Assassin's Creed part was the worst part of the game. I just would have enjoyed playing the Viking.
Dude, they abandoned it. The Assassin's Creed games have been an open world story that didn't have anything to do with the Assassins dang near at all for a while. It's just been yo, here's an Odyssey story, here's a Valhalla story that barely tied into the original. But when they decided to whack their main character and never even let you play him properly, that was pretty much it. I liked it when it looked like it had a Watch Dogs tie-in. That looked interesting.
Yeah.
They scrapped that to go, I don't know, sideways. But back us on point, I don't care about what they're really doing. I'm just mentioning, though, that I looked at this and said, that's not adding up. I immediately said, it's not adding up, but okay, whatever. These games are dumb anyway. It's about aliens. Yeah, spoilers. It's about aliens anyway. It ain't about nothing they say. It's alien items and booga 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 aliens. That's what it's about, so it's dumb. But the attitude towards Japan shocked me, because I always look at a situation and going, how would I feel if that was me? And I'm just like, wow, man, they're just going at it. And they decided not to go to the Japan Expo. They attacked back at an entire country over and over. But then they had to back off. And now they got to go back to Steam and say, we're not doing Epic. They had to push the game back to February. And the joke I was telling earlier before he stopped me was that they pushed the game back to the same month as Monster Hunter Wilds, which is probably already the game of the year for like 2025, man. Like, Monster Hunter Wilds is going to blow the back out of February and probably 2025.
You know, we'll probably play the game for at least 2 months ourselves.
Yes, and it's one of the biggest gaming franchises in Japan, one of the biggest gaming franchises on Nintendo, and everybody's wanted to play it. It's got more hype. There are more people watching a video talking about Monster Hunter Wilds than probably played Outlaws. You know what I'm saying? Just watching videos about it. More of them are eager to play that. There's probably more wish lists for friggin' Monster Hunter Wilds than worldwide sales for Outlaws. So, why would you push it back to February? This game is doomed. And so is the company. Now they have strikes. Their employees are striking. There's an internal investigation by the shareholders. This company's on fire.
Yeah, they didn't mention. By the way, Flynn asked. Says Ubisoft says Star Wars Outlaws undersold. What was the number it actually sold? It was released in a conference call that was documented and released to the public, and it did not say a number. They just basically said that it was softer than expected.
I mean, go look at the stock, though, and I think you can make a guess, because, like, it's crashing. So we saw the biggest fail of a game, Concord. I think Ubisoft is about to be the biggest fall of a game company. One of the largest game companies in the world, by, I believe, the end of 2025 is going to be on fire. Now, the big question is, who's going to buy the scraps? Anybody, any takers? Who's betting on who's going to buy the scraps? Because they're not going to let it actually disappear. Someone's going to buy it.
You know, Microsoft's going to scoop in and try to pick it up.
I think Microsoft's pretty much trying to not to do that anymore, though. I mean, I think they've overgrown too quickly. Ubisoft is still too big. I don't see Ubisoft going under, because I mean it's still a huge company.
Somebody's going to buy it. I think somebody's going to buy it, though.
I don't know if anybody can afford it right now.
I don't think Sony can with how much they're spending on Marvel and DC properties.
Yeah, darn it. Y'all already got it then. Y'all on the same path. My fear, Tencent.
Now, that's a possibility. I mean, we just saw Tencent invest in Remedy Studios. They bought 10%, I think, or 8% of Remedy Studios, or invested 8%. They don't buy it outright. They may do like you said and go majority. Now, and here's the sad part. I don't like Tencent. I mean, Tencent rarely buys anything straight out. It usually buys a portion.
But if Tencent became the majority holder, I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like a traitor to everything I believe in. They would knock out some of that nonsense, though. That's just the truth.
Well, I will say, I mean, they tend to put money into successful companies. That's the only reason why Tencent may not touch Ubisoft.
Oh no, you've been missing that. They've been scooping up some of the little. They scoop up the little side ones, man. They do. Tencent owns. Go look at how much Tencent owns. Tencent done picked up a bunch of little side companies. You just don't hear about it because they keep it under the radar.
Yeah, but they usually have an IP that has taken off recently.
Well, Assassin's Creed's been pretty popular up until this most recent game. So.
Well, that's why I said taken off recently. Yeah.
Oh, apparently they've already got stock in Ubisoft, 11%.
Well, they.
So they may go full majority. So I believe Tencent will go majority, but the only good thing that'll come from it is that I don't think Tencent plays games. I don't think they're gonna be like, hey, what's the next game? Yeah, oh, that's what you want to do? Okay, you're fired. We don't care. Get the hell out. We're not American. We don't play that. You go back and cry in California.
They will want to make money. So yeah, no, I will give.
They don't care about your feelings of their employees. They don't care. They don't care if you cry. Oh no, did we hurt your feelings? Good, get out. Like, I mean, just be real. Sometimes the bad guy does have a point. Sometimes you gotta not care about the feelings. You gotta be a businessman. Getting bought by a company that doesn't care about your fee-fees might be the best thing that could happen, or getting domiciled might be the best thing that could happen to Ubisoft. I mean, it really could. Could be what they need. Now, It's an overall loss for the gaming industry if it happens, but they would. Because, I mean, look at the Persia remake, man. That's not the guy we played any of those games. That ain't even a Persian guy. That's a brother.
I'm not sharing this, but
Go back up. That's a brother.
Q on that one, because if you say it'll be an overall loss for the gaming community, I don't think so, because if Tencent acquires Ubisoft and shows them how to make a real game that's popular, it may change the direction or development of future games. That may be a net win. It may be a step back in the short term, but in the long term, it may be more successful.
Look at that hairstyle. That's not an ancient Persian hairstyle, dude. That's Killmonger.
I gotta quit surfing the web while Q gets distracted too. He's I was looking up Ubisoft
You look at
games.
that is a modern hairstyle. That ain't a freaking Prince of Persia. That ain't an ancient Persian hairstyle. That dude fought freaking T'Challa to rule Wakanda. That's Killmonger hairstyle.
But yeah, I mean, the 4 games that they've either announced or released in 2024, Avatar, I think, was probably the most successful. Skull and Bones completely fell off the face of the earth. And we know what Outlaws has done, and now Assassin's Creed's been pushed back until February of next year.
Man, when your last few games are 75% off, that says a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
But
well, not Mirage, but like you saw that like Far Cry 6 and Assassin's Creed Valhalla was 75% off. But Mirage is 50% off, and I think was that the last one? What was the last Assassin's Creed?
Skull and Bones just came out. It was supposed to be the first quadruple A game, and it's 60% off. That's insane.
Let me look at this.
I still want that full price for that Star Wars Outlaws, though.
They can keep
Mirage. Assassin's Creed Mirage was the last game to release. It's already 50% off. The last Assassin's Creed is already 50% off. When did it come out? How long did it take to get to 50% off? Came out last year at October. Less than a year, well, almost less, because October 5th. But barely a year ago, it's already at 50% off, man. That game didn't have legs. And the others are on Game Pass or 75% off. Their games aren't holding. And Assassin's Creed Shadow is probably going to be 50% off before it comes out.
That's the only way I'd play Outlaws if it was on Game Pass. And that's about nothing else to play.
Let's jump ship like everybody else is doing, because this ship is sinking. Ubisoft is going down, down, down.
PlayStation State of Play happened this week.
Yeah, do you want to post my post that I made there?
I mean, you can just rant. I mean,
you see how long this list is? All right, so on a YouTube discussion, I decided to go through the State of Play and decide why you should buy a PS5 Pro. So I looked up almost every game. I skipped the VR, but I looked up every game that was not exclusive to PlayStation. In the end, if I remember correctly, there are 3 games that are like only coming out on PlayStation and not coming to PC or Xbox. And like Astrobot was one of them, and it's already out. So this is sad when your State of Play is filled with games that aren't your game. Now, before anybody tries to pull the Xbox had a lot of games on Xbox, that's not Xbox's selling point. Xbox isn't even barely trying to sell you a console. Let's be real. Xbox is already becoming a game company more than anything else. But PlayStation sells itself on its console. You must own a PS5. You must own a PS Pro. No, you don't.
I don't think
Because
they say
most
you
of
must
the
own a
games-
PS Pro, man. I mean, PS Pro, they even market it as just a buffed up PlayStation 5. I don't think I don't think anybody said you have to have a PS Pro.
You haven't
Either
been on
way,
Twitter.
You have no
Well, okay. I mean, maybe if you're a super PlayStation fanboy, you're saying it. But what I'm saying is I mean, PS Pros is, I mean, it says they're going to put a label on games that take advantage of the PS Pro, PS5 Pro's heavier processor. So you'll get, in some cases, a little bit better graphics with the PS Pro.
The vast majority of games, especially the ones that actually are the higher end and not little mini games, are coming for PC. So you're not getting an exclusivity. So if you have a PC, you don't have a reason to get a Pro. If you have a PlayStation, you really don't have a reason to get a Pro. If you don't own any PlayStation at all, you really don't have a reason to get a PlayStation. You'd be better off getting a PC. Why? Because you'll get more games across Xbox and PlayStation than you will with the console. And that was my main thing. But I just was amazed that once again, because remember we covered the last one, that the State of Play didn't have any Sony exclusives. But so what is happening to all this money they're paying to get exclusives if they're barely pulling it off?
I mean, there were several
keeping
exclusives
it off of
on
Xbox.
there. I mean, the Ghost of Yotai is a exclusive. They're doing a Stellar Blade and
Ghost of
Nier
Yotai is not on.
crossover DLC.
Again,
Hold on, I think
Helldivers 2 was
you're right. Ghost of Yotai is not hitting PC immediately. We'll cover that in a moment. That'll be
Well,
fun.
and I mean, dude, when you say PC, most people's home PCs don't have a high-end graphics card to play. Gaming PCs is a whole different world than consoles, man.
Well, then my counterpoint is if they don't have that high graphics card, it's because they're not into that, so they don't need a PS Pro. Or they'd have already spent it on their PC. Now,
No, that's not true either.
why? Why would you spend that on the console and only get it for PlayStation games? You just spend it on your PC.
A lot of people
and get it
do
for both.
console-only gaming because of the convenience. It's keeping up.
There's nothing competing
Keeping
about
up with
a
the
PS
Joneses
Pro.
on a PC is a pain in the ass for a lot of people.
I disagree. I believe that if you're console only, but
I mean,
you're not worried about
it's
that, you
it's
don't
not
need a
something you
Pro.
can really disagree with, dude. It's a fact. I mean, I know tons of people who only have consoles and only do console gaming because they don't want the headache of a PC.
And you think that they would want a Pro? They'd want to crank it up. That's PlayStation 5 they already have to a Pro. I'm talking about the
Obviously,
Pro. I'm not talking about
there is a
PlayStation. I'm
market
talking
for
about
the
a Pro.
Pro, or there wouldn't be people selling their pre-orders for the Pro for almost $3,000. There are
There's
people
always
out there
will.
willing to pay $3,000 for somebody's pre-order of the Pro. So there's obviously a market out there.
Well,
there
okay,
is,
I'm not
because you
talking
have
to those
have
people.
to have it.
I'm not talking to the whales that don't care what they spend. I'm talking to
But that's what the
average
Pro
person.
the Pro edition is for, the whales. That's what it's for. It's what
all right,
this is what the Pro edition's always been for.
All right.
And out of the three of us, I'm the only one that doesn't do PC gaming because number one, you have to keeping your hardware upgraded almost on an annual basis, and number two, you're right, it is more convenient to play on my Xbox.
See?
But would you buy like a much more expensive version of your existing Xbox?
Yes, I would.
Well, I forgot you do. You get deluxe editions. He's a whale.
Yeah.
I forgot. Clinton orders deluxe editions of his favorite games all the time. But
Dude, I'll buy the regular version, and I'll go hunt down the deluxe version later on just to have my collection.
It's like Flynn says Flynn says it right in the chat room. He's like, price for price, the console is still cheaper than a high-end PC. Yeah, getting the Pro console. So
Because I give my old Xboxes to my kids, and when you got four of them, There's a lot of consoles I need to go around.
All right, then.
I can get 4 consoles cheap.
I am outvoted. The PS5 Pro is a good purchase.
Didn't say that.
No,
I said
no.
there's a market for it.
No, there's a reason
There's a
people
market for
want to
crap.
have it. But if I had the choice between a PlayStation and a PC, I'd get Xeno to help me build a gaming PC. I wouldn't do a PlayStation. But if I have the choice between all three, I know Xbox. I played Xbox for 20 years. It's what I know. And call it loyalty, call it ignorance, whatever you want, but that's just what I'm used to.
Coming from a guy
if Nintendo had kept up, I'd still be playing Nintendo, but their games are still like when I was 10 years old playing in my bedroom. Their games.
I'm coming from the angle of somebody who used to own them all. Like I used to be the guy that would have a PlayStation, Xbox, and a PC. And
Nintendo, I remember.
And I slowly weaned away because the value deteriorated for me.
No, because PlayStation pissed you off.
But also, it didn't have the value of it. Honestly, I only got the Xbox because you won't get a PC. Because even the Xbox didn't have the value other than the fact that I like its HUD. It is a good. I actually decided to just turn it into an entertainment. I said, I'll get my value out of this. I can play Xbox with Bloodaxe, and I can watch YouTube and Netflix on it. I can cut the cable. And I basically bought my Xbox on the money I saved from cutting cable by not paying them and being able to watch what I want on there and have another system that I could watch TV over there on the Xbox. You might be able to see it it's to the right. You can't see it. It's over here. But I mainly watch YouTube. I watch more YouTube on my Xbox than I play it.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing with a console, and this is why I have a console, because, I barely use my console. It's couch co-op, man. Like, when it comes to having friends over and playing a game together on the same, on the same TV or a couch, it's a pain in the butt to get a lot of multiple controllers to work smoothly on a PC. Plus fighting games for some reason have never been as smooth on PC as they have been on console.
That's true.
Oh,
no.
Even if you're the best PC out there, it seems like fighting games for some reason just work better on console.
Really does.
Designed for arcade consoles. So
yeah.
It makes sense.
I mean, and there you go. So you've got everybody's different opinions on it. If you've got the money, you're going to do what you want anyway. So, but I looked at it and I was just trying to break it down from a view, not even an attack on PlayStation, because I feel the same way about upgrading your Xbox. Xbox does not have enough unique titles for me to buy another one when I have one that works. That's my opinion.
But I also get the hate towards PlayStation when comments like this come out. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
And the stand, I don't care what any of you say, you all can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Selling the stand separate was some bull crap.
And where I do agree to a point with if you don't like it, don't buy it. It's the as somebody who is in the that's supposed to be in the industry and supposed to be selling games, that's not the attitude you really want. As a person selling games, if somebody makes a comment about your game, you should be able to back up why you made that choice and maybe sell them on the game.
Or how about be professional too? Like, why are you attacking? Because the problem is that if they don't like it, they're not going to buy it. You frigging idiot. You stupid fool. You literal brain dead dumbass. They're not going to buy it if they don't like it. But when you make that phrase, I know. I've seen it. I follow this. Nobody sitting here follows this crap more than I do. I'm always watching the dang flow and every game that comes out. And there are people who will not buy a game if you say that. You lose sales because of them. Because their immediate attitude is, you're a jackass and you don't care. And you know me, I won't give my money to anybody who talks that way to me, regardless if they weren't talking to me. I will never buy this game because if that's your attitude, I'd be a fool to give you my money because your opinion is, I don't care about you as a customer or trying to sell to you. Well, then keep your stupid game.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's
the
right.
other thing is we also know, digging deeper, I mean, is sometimes you shouldn't always be on the super defensive. Like, okay, I get it. They're like, oh, sexist, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is if you actually look why a lot of people are upset that it's a female protagonist, it's not because it's just a female. It's because they didn't feel like the story was finished with the first character.
And that's what I was looking into earlier when he commented about being distracted. I actually pay attention. And the biggest thing is people wanted a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. They wanted more because the way it ended, I won't spoil it, but when I told Zeno, even he said, oh, yeah, that sounds like there's a lot more to that story. And I'm like, it sounded like it ended on a really interesting moment where you're like, what happens next? And here's the good and bad, but I'm also going to be fair. Now, it is called Ghost of Yotai. It is not called Ghost of Tsushima 2. And if you dig deeper past these pieces, because, Zeno talks about that, a lot of these guys are opinionated, you will find out that they said that that's why it's called Ghost of Yotai. It is purposefully meant to be a different, while it is, they are taking the Ghost name, it is a reference to the first game, it is a successor, it is not Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Yeah, it's actually set 300 years after, I think.
So they purposely wanted to do a divorcing away from that so they could go back and make Ghost of Tsushima 2. It can still happen. Okay. So there's no reason to be mad about this game. It is a side story. That's like being mad that Assassin's Creed Valhalla didn't have y'all little favorite guy from, they did like Ezio. Didn't have Ezio in it. It's like, of course not. It's in Valhalla, dummy. I agree with him there. Then I'm like, if it's a Ghost, it's not Ghost of Tsushima, it's Ghost of Yotai. So I will defend them. Now, the fact that they also went away from it being historical, it is a completely just, they looked at Yotai Mountain, thought it looked good, and decided to do a woman. Yes, they've admitted that. They just decided. So it's not a real spiritual successor to Ghost of Tsushima either. It's also not a spiritual successor. That's not anything to get mad about either, though. But it is a reason for you to decide it's not for you. So if you don't like it, don't buy it. That's what he decided to say. He's not wrong. Now, is it going to do well? I've got no idea. Because it might not pull as many of the fans of the first game because it's neither a real specific story from history or a real spiritual successor because, well, let's be real. The second you make a decision based on something like just we want to tell a woman's story, you're already moving away from we want to tell this historical piece. So, but hey, is that a red flag? No, maybe a great game because we know they know how to build it.
Flynn says in the chat room, he says the first game was only historical and the fact of the Mongol invasion, the main character is fiction.
Okay, so then fictional across the board. Well, it was impressive enough that they decided to make the people the friggin' ambassadors of the island, so they did well enough that they felt it was good enough to represent them. I don't think that's going to happen for Yotai Mountain. So there. I don't think that's going to happen for Yotai Mountain. But I just said that's not a reason to be angry anyway. So no correction needed. I believe you don't have to be telling a historical story. Problem is that the actors that they chose for it is a bit of a red flag. Because we decided to do a little looking into it. And some people, I don't think it's a reason to get mad, but it is enough to raise an eyebrow because she's kind of got her own stick. She's got a kind of her own stick. And that stick isn't looking good. Ms. Erika Ishii does a very specific type of thing. She really does a very specific type of thing. And if you want to know, look it up.
Come on, dance around.
She's not, she likes to do roles where it's usually got a very specific message. And this is in particular where you replace a male protagonist is something she's also voiced several times. So I get the concerns,
Yeah.
but I'm actually going to say something no one here will expect. Ghost of Tsushima did a very good job. They even earned the respect of the people that were represented. I say, wait, give them a chance.
Makes sense.
I say, wait, give them a chance. Now, watch them. Watch them. Give them a chance.
Now,
So, no, we don't always do that. I think they deserve an opportunity to be seen out.
Now, speaking of giving chances, there's somebody I think who's long run out of chances at this point, and that's Disney, man. So Disney is cutting another 300 corporate staffers in its latest wave of layoffs. We've also seen some people step down from Disney administration. I know there's a lot of rumors going on right now that we won't talk about with Disney, just because we've had the rumors before and we're never really sure how much is true. But we do know that the Jennifer Lee has stepped down from Disney's animation chief. Now this comes after the Bad Wish animated release. On top of that, there has been releases about the Acolyte, and I'm gonna let Q talk about that because he's read more about that. But the tax documents basically exploded to $230 million real cost for the Acolyte.
That is a very high cost when you think about it for this show. And it's another one of those examples of I don't see where the money went. This has become a recurring theme where you see shows, usually with particular producers. Again, for the sake of not just to turning people off, I'm not going to make any accusations. But when I see this happen, there's a pattern where you just see these exorbitant budgets and nobody knows where the money went. It's already happened with Agatha. They're already pricing that at a really high amount, and people are looking for the money, But basically, they lost their back on it. Like, they're not going to do another season. They can't afford it. So what happened to She-Hulk? Now, at least in She-Hulk, they had the CGI. I saw the CGI. It's expensive to animate Hulk. You're doing these elaborate business building sets. Everybody's got on suits. All of this can cost money. But I don't see it in Acolyte. I mean, I really don't. It's not there. And this is a weird thing in Disney. I think Disney has another problem. I think there is a money-stealing problem going on in Disney. Because these shows do not look like the money. You think I'm kidding? Go look at the budget of Loki and Winter Soldier and other shows that had special effects and actual actors, like well-known actors with a history. And you're like, where's this money going? And these little, really rinky-dinky looking shows are getting massive budgets, looking awful, and then failing dramatically. And that's why he said I've been covering it, because I've been watching it, and I now have a new tinfoil hat theory, and that theory is that somebody's stealing from Disney. Now, I don't know if Disney's in on it, if somebody at the top's in on it, if Iger's part of the whole thing, but money is funneling in and going up in smoke, and you look at it and go, where'd that money go? And this even goes into a later topic where we see it in the animation industry, but we'll cover that in a moment.
So if they spend $230 million, and if each episode averages around 45 minutes, you are paying $638,000 per minute for each episode of Acolyte. $638,000 per minute.
Yeah, it's $28.75 million per episode.
That's insane.
Keep yourself
So, yeah, I mean, it was canceled. And once again, it's this type of stuff that leads to all those rumors we keep hearing about different people being gone from Disney. But then we see next week that they're back or they're still there. So, you know, and I think that's been the fact that those rumors keep getting people over and over again lead to, I mean, obviously we're seeing bad performance come from Disney. So it makes it really believable when you go, oh, Bob Iger's out, or, you know, Kathleen Kennedy's is out, you know, or like, oh, should be, you know, and then we're like, nope, that rumor wasn't true, you know, and then it's like, okay, well, wow, they must have had a good contract. I don't know, you know. But yeah, apparently Agatha, all along ratings crashed below the canceled The Acolyte on Disney Plus. But apparently a lot of people who've been following the media and the numbers being released are showing that, you know, once again, Disney's math magic, where they're comparing the numbers of 5 or 6 days of viewership to somebody's 1 or 2 days of viewership, or, you know, 3 episodes to somebody's 1 episode. And so, I mean, Disney's trying to cover it up, which leads me to think that the same people are still in power. Because, I mean, if you knew somebody was screwing up and you were getting ready to get rid of them, you wouldn't be doing getting cover up pieces. I mean, in my opinion. What do you think, Blood?
Well, I'm sorry, I was responding back to Flynn in the chat. I really, at this point, don't see how Disney keeps making ends meet. Staying afloat is going to be insane. I mean, the only thing they've done that's been successful is Deadpool and Wolverine, and you know, they would have really had to try to fail that. But everything else they've done, whether it be the Echo show or the Acolyte or Agatha or even back to last year, Willow, they cannot keep going the way they're going and still remain a company. They're going to have to start breaking themselves up into pieces and parts just to be able to pay their bills. But, you know, I think in the end, just like with our last topic, you know, if I don't like it, don't buy it. And that's what we've been doing, is we haven't been buying it, and it's been reflective, because you've seen people begin to step away, or you've seen downsizing in certain companies. And I think that's the way that, you know, we keep the pressure on. And I agree with Q, you know, wait until the game comes out to see if it's worth our while. But on the other hand, don't bellyache at me for not partaking in your content, because it's not made for me, and you made it clear it's not made for me. You can say, oh, it's toxic gamers or toxic Star Wars fans. No, it's just what you're making is not for me. I'm a Lucasfilm Star Wars fan, not a Disney Star Wars fan. Because nothing Disney's put out except for Rogue One has even been worth my time. Everything else I haven't even watched a second time yet. So if they want to keep, you know, pushing these buttons, then that's fine. And, you know, I'm sure some people like Agatha. I hope they do. Just some of the strange things that we talked about before the show made me scratch my head why they would make those choices. But then again, if I'm not target audience, that's fine. But you know what? There's 5 people in my household who don't watch Disney Plus because I haven't paid for a subscription in 2 years. And I will continue not to partake in Disney because it's not for us.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, and the fact that you brought up Deadpool and Wolverine, and I know we've hit on this box multiple times, but obviously we know what works. You know, here was a movie that didn't really push an agenda. It was just fun and escapism, you know, which is what movies are supposed to be, is escapism. You know, made 1.3 million, you know, in the box office. Top 20 in the all-time worldwide box office, you know, 13th domestically. So, number one, rated R movie of all time. So, I mean, we know what works. We know escapism works without throwing all the bullshit in there. And, but we keep doing it. I mean, if that's not a plan to fail, I don't know what is.
And just to jump in, that's the crazy part. You're right. I mean, you know the winning formula, you know the losing formula. I don't know if y'all looked this up, but does that say how much it costs to make it?
What's that?
Production budget, $200 million. Huh? Okay, guys. It says the production budget, $200 million. So I want y'all to think about that. Deadpool costs less than the Acolyte.
Yeah.
Where'd the money go, y'all? There ain't even a celebrity in that. Well, there was one celebrity that killed her off in like a couple of minutes, and then she popped up for a little bit later. Unless they paid her $100 million, that show should have been $100 million at best.
And what's bad is they were pimping out Carrie-Anne Moss as, the person to watch the show, and it was kind of like the Kevin Smith He-Man, or He-Man was, got punked in the first 5 minutes of the show, and then turned it to do something completely different. Which, if Carrie-Anne Moss had been a badass Jedi, I may have actually watched it. But the fact that they shuffled off to the side after the first scene, well, what's it all about? Oh, it's about lesbian space witches. Okay, that's not Star Wars, but whatever. And nothing that they even mentioned. Skeleton Crew, not for me. That's more of a Goonies in space type situation. If I was maybe 10 years old, yeah, I might enjoy Skeleton Crew. And then the Rey movie. Who wants to watch a Rey movie? So at this point, there's nothing remotely interesting in Star Wars or even Marvel for that matter, other than Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think that was more Ryan Reynolds than it was Kevin Feige doing anything with Marvel. So, yeah, most of our interests are going back to what we've been talking about the past several weeks, which is retro gaming, retro movies, things with nostalgia value, because that's what we can actually escape and enjoy, as opposed to sitting down and playing something that's either not fun or watching a TV show that we just don't understand or can't get into. And maybe we're becoming the grumpy old men now that we're in our 40s and almost 50. But at this point, you're right, Zeno. The winning formula is not continuing down the hammer an agenda into the crowd's faces. It's give them something so they can escape away from that person standing outside and hammering things into their face. Give them something they can actually enjoy and laugh, or a thriller to where you have to, be suspenseful or try to figure something out. No one wants to go to be preached at.
Yeah. And I think that's where we're going to wrap it up, guys. With that, be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com, where you can find links everywhere we are online. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.